What's up, y'all? I'm Malcolm Nix. Welcome to Pulse City. And in the city, all Black Lives Matter. Our topic for today is Quawan Charles. If you don't know the story of Quawan Charles,
what's up, Pulse City fam? This is Angela Say This. Yet another tragedy in regards to one of our Black babies, our Black children. Quawan Bobby Charles was a 15-year-old teenager who passed away in November of 2020, and his death is still being investigated.
Who was found dead in a drainage ditch after leaving his father's home and hanging out with the friend and the friend's mother for a few hours. According to the friend and his mother, Quawan left, didn't tell anybody where he was going, was reported missing by his family. The police didn't seem to take it seriously from the family's perspective, and he was found dead in a drainage ditch several days later.
When he didn't come home, his family went to the police, reported him missing, and instead of issuing an Amber Alert or doing any kind of investigating right away, they sat on their hands and waited. No Amber Alerts was set out, none of it. Several days later, his body was found in a sugarcane field, and his death was ruled by death by drowning. It has been ruled a homicide, so it is technically being investigated, but his family is saying that they're getting very few answers and that they were mistreated in the beginning processes when they first reported him missing.
The police ruled it a drowning, even though the drainage ditch only had ankle-high water at the time. And on top of that, Quawan's face was severely beaten and battered to where his teeth were visible outside of his face. This one's a tough one for me. I was researching this for the show. I got very heavy Emmett Till vibes. And if you don't know the story of Emmett Till, Google is your friend. This gave me just eerie Emmett Till vibes. You know, to see the young man's face that beaten for allegedly whistling at a white woman over 60 years ago. And for this young man to appear that he was beaten. And for the police to say that he was drowned. And for the police to say that the marks on his face and the fact that his teeth are visible outside of his mouth is due to aquatic animals.
If you can't tell, my tone is off. I'm tired of talking about our babies dying. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of these suspicious circumstances and the fact that these departments think that it's just okay to write them off and to not take these parents seriously when they say that their baby is missing and that something is wrong.
Guys, like that, it hurts my heart. And there's so much to kind of unpack here. So number one, as a Black man in America, it's disheartening to have a sense if something happens to you that is this tragic, that the police are just going to be drowned. There was water and mud in his lungs. Nothing we can do.
More importantly, we all know that if Quawan was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl, 15-year-old, he would have been all over national news. JonBenet Ramsey and the countless other Amber Alerts we see every single day on our iPhones and everywhere else, that the media would have been on this because the departments would have been trying with all of their heart and all of their energy to find her. When Quawan went missing, it feels like they did nothing. They did the bare minimum, and they didn't even do their own protocols properly.
And instead of investigating further the people that he was last with, who, by the way, if you don't know the background behind the people that he was last with, the mother of his friend actually lost custody of her children at one point, has been in and out of court over the last 20 years for theft, for drug possession, for allowing minors to drink. You know, a very checkered past, if you will. And she even did some time in jail. But yet there's not really much of an investigation into her past or what actually happened that day before Quawan allegedly left the trailer with no particular direction that he was going in.
Our babies aren't even protected the same. When something is wrong and we're looking for our babies, their worth is valued less.
It gives me pause because where I live, it's a rather mixed community. We've got white people, we've got Black people, we've got Hispanic people. My children tend to play with the kids that are in the neighborhood. They refer to them as neighborhood kids. And they'll play with the black kids like they'll play with the white kids. All white people are the same, and, this is something that happens everywhere. That's not what I'm saying. But it does give you pause that if this could happen to this young man in Louisiana, you got Emmett Till. We have several other examples of mysterious things happening to black people when they're in the presence of white people. It can't help but give you pause.
Not to mention all of the conflicting stories and lack of follow through and all of that. Not to mention that they're trying to say that he drowned less than a foot of water. Not to mention that his body that supposedly drowned was found with all kinds of traumas and contusions and things to his face and the rest of his body.
Have very few instances where I felt unsafe or I felt like I was in danger. But even with that, like, to allow my kids to go off in, what is becoming a very hostile environment in this country for people of color, in particular black people, I have a lot of pause and I have a lot of concern before, with my kids going off and playing with people who look different than them. See my neighbors and say, ooh, I don't know if I should let my kids play with the neighbors' kids or go into their house or have Kool-Aid with them or whatever. It shouldn't have to be like that. But unfortunately, due to how things kind of are in this country, I struggle with letting go of that anxiety and that fear.
To the Charles family, my heart goes out to you. I hope that we keep Quawan's name on our timelines and keep yelling and making sure that those people that are in those leadership positions and are supposed to be investigating do their jobs and do them thoroughly, correctly, and properly. I'm Angela Say This, voice of the people, Pulse City. I'll see you all next time, and I pray it's a more upbeat topic.
And I hope that my creator can help me let go of some of that angst and some of that anxiety. And again, like I said, my heart just continues to hurt. Rest in peace, Quawan Charles. And, my deepest condolences to the young man's family. And may they find peace and prayerfully justice out of this horrendous event that has occurred. That's our time here in Pulse City. Like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to the city, go back and look at some of our old clips. And we'll be back. I'm Malcolm Nix. Peace out.
Oh my god. Orange is not my new black.